Task number 9, bypassing server-side filtering magic numbers. This task is part of the upload vulnerabilities module, which is part of the complete beginner path on TryHackMe. We've already had a look at server-side extension filtering, but let's also take the opportunity to see how magic numbers checking could be implemented as a server-side filter. As mentioned previously, magic numbers are used as a more accurate identifier of files. The magic number of a file is a string of hex digits and is always at the very first thing in a file. Knowing this, it's possible to use magic numbers to validate file uploads simply by reading those first few bytes and comparing them against either a whitelist or a blacklist. Bear in mind that this technique can be very effective against a PHP-based web server. However, it can sometimes fail against other types of web servers. We have a hint. Let's take a look at an example. As per usual, we have an upload page. As expected, if we upload our standard shell.php file, we got an error. However, if you upload a JPEG, the website is fine with it, all running as per expected so far. From the previous attempts at an upload, we know that JPEG files are accepted, so let's try adding the JPEG magic number to the top of our shell.php file. A quick look at the list of the signatures on Wikipedia shows us that there are several possible magic numbers for a JPEG file. It shouldn't matter which we use here, so let's just pick one. We could add the ASCII representation of these digits directly to the top of the file, but it's often easier to work directly with the hexadecimal representation, so let's cover that method. Before we get started, let's use the Linux file command to check the file type of our shell. File and then shell.php, and you can see that is a PHP script using ASCII text. As expected, the command tells us that the file type is a PHP, keeping in mind as we proceed with the explanation. We can see that the magic number we've chosen is 4 bytes long. So let's open the reverse shell script and add 4 random characters on the first line. These characters do not matter, so for this example, we'll just use 4 A's. So as you can see, it's not inside the PHP code, it's just before. Save the file and exit. Next, we're going to reopen the file in Hex Editor, which comes by default on Kali, or any other tool which allows you to see and edit the shell as hex. In Hex Editor, the file looks like this. And here you can see the file open in Hex Editor. We can see the numbers. Note the 4 bytes in the red box. They are all 41, which is hex code for capital A, exactly what we added at the top of the file previously. Change this to the magic number we found earlier for JPEG files. If we go to list of signatures and let's just search for a JPEG. Here you can see for a JPEG, we can see different combinations, right? What TryHackMe chose this one, right, which is this one. Now, if we save and exit the file, we can use file again. The same thing for a .php. The same command displays that it's a JPEG image. So this way we just tricked the system to recognize our app as a JPEG. Perfect. Now let's try to upload and modify the shell and see the bypass filter. File successfully uploaded, and boom, we have the terminal activated. We have the reverse shell activated. There we have it. We bypass the server-side magic number filter and receive a reverse shell. So here we have the interface. It's right over here to the right of the screen. We can select a file. Let's actually go to downloads and see if we can upload a JPEG. GIFs only, please. All right, we jump over here. We search for a GIF. All right, there you go. This is the hex we need to add. We go inside over here. We list. We go to downloads and we list again. We will change this to PHP. We open up the reverse shell. We go to the top of the file. We insert over here and we paste here the magic numbers for a GIF. Actually, before we close this, let's go and say over here, file PHP. We can see the same thing, PHP script ASCII text. After we do that, we go over here again and say this. We see that is actually ASCII text. Now, if we go here, we select the file, reverse shell. We upload this. GIFs only, please. Let's try to take this one. And do the same thing. Let's try to delete this and add the other code. Now, let's see what will happen if we try to upload it again. GIFs only, please. Okay, then we'll do again the trick with... we'll do this trick again. And we'll say here gif.php. Let's see if this will work. GIFs only, please. Now, I will change simple JPEG to simple.gif. And let me try to upload this and see what will happen. Let me go buster directory. Let's complete this thing. And let's run a directory brute force for this endpoint. Graphics and assets. Okay, let's jump to graphics. It's forbidden. All right. Then if we go to assets, I believe we see the same thing that we saw already. It's forbidden also. You don't have permission to access this resource. Okay. All right. This should work. This should work. Yeah, file uploaded successfully. And then this means that we can go to graphics, simple.gif. Actually, simple.html. So as you can see, we have the hex signatures in this column, ISO in this column, offsets, extensions, and descriptions. So we have to use the ISO of GIF in order to be recognized. We'll use this one. Then the step is pretty simple from here. We just do sudo vim for PHP. Actually, no. Let me move this PHP. Let's change the extensions back to that. Sudo vim PHP. In here, we have to delete this entire thing and add our new ISO code. Now, it should be accepted without issue. Simple PHP upload is successful. In here, netget nvlp1234, and now if we go to graphics, PHP reverse shell.php, I believe, and we jump over here. Who am I? Right, cat from var flag.txt. We see it over here. Awesome. So the trick was that even though accepts GIFs, we had to use the ISO code. It did not work with the hex code. We just added in our shell the ISO code for GIF, and then we could upload it. Awesome.